This is going to be one of your biggest challenges as an entrepreneur, and that's what I'll talk about today. When you first start out in entrepreneurship, just you, and you have to learn everything or enough to be able to put together a business that generates a profit. You're going to get to the point where there's so much going on that you need to hire someone to start actually helping you. And that's the journey of growth, because you start with sales, you deliver the sales, you get to the point that the delivery of the sales takes up a significant amount of time. And so now you need to hire somebody else to help with the delivery. And so you can focus on sales. The one recommendation I would always say at the very start of your entrepreneurial journey is the sales and marketing, the bringing in the money, that stays with the founder for quite a while, right? So let's start there, right? And so the people who you want to hire first are people to help you to produce the work that's being sold so you can sell more. That's for the first hire, to be clear, right? Now, over time, you may need someone else to help you with sales or marketing and so on. But the journey of growth is the journey of hiring people, and to be smart in who you hire and how they help you. I won't talk today about how to structure the team and how to think about the people and the tasks that they do. But what I am going to focus on is actually, how do you hire the best people? Yeah. How do you actually find the best people? Because it makes a massive kind of impact on the success of your company if you know how to hire well. And if you don't know how to hire well, which most entrepreneurs have not got that experience in the beginning, you're kind of going to get stuck with kind of average or above average people, but not the great, the amazing people, the people who you go, wow, they're excellent, right? So this is my first thing that I want to share, right? And this is kind of how I approach hiring people at Web Profits and across any other venture that I'm focused on, right? And it's this simple statement. It's either a hell yeah or it's a no. What does that mean? Well, if you interview someone, at the end of the interview, you're going to have a feeling, yeah? Now, the feeling that you need to kind of get to is hell yeah. That person who we just interviewed is a hell yeah. And what does it mean by hell yeah? It's so obvious that they are going to be perfect for this position that obviously I want to hire them, right? You need to feel this in your gut, yeah? So it's something that's in your gut. And it's like those things when you meet someone who you really like, it's obvious. It's like, it's so obvious. You're like, oh my God, that person is great, yeah? That's a hell yeah. So they fit everything that you're looking for. That's a hell yeah. Everything else is a no. This is the big part. Everything else is a no. And this is something to really understand well, because I mean, I've done thousands and thousands of interviews over my lifetime, and I've hired hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And in that time, I've made lots of mistakes. So some of those mistakes were hiring people who weren't a hell yeah. You know, some of the conversations that I've had in some of my companies at the recruitment stage, because sometimes you need people so badly because you're understaffed, the sales are coming in, the work has to be done, and somebody has left to take on another position elsewhere. In that scenario, there's a lot of pressure on you to hire someone. And so when you have that pressure to hire someone, you can start to maybe go, oh, it's not really a hell yeah, but they're almost a hell yeah. And that's a danger zone, right? Oh, it's almost a hell yeah. It's almost that. It's almost the right thing, but it's just not 100%, right? And it's easy when it's a no, right? It's easy when it's obvious. It's harder just when they're almost there, but they're not there yet. And you really need somebody. My advice in that situation is to not hire that person, because it doesn't fit the rule. It's either a hell yeah or it's a no, right? And If you hire someone who's not a hell yeah, what could end up happening is that they're there and they're doing the job, but they're just doing the job just okay. And they're just doing the job, it's above average, but it's not amazing. It's not great. And in this world that we're living in today, it needs to be great. It needs to be standout. It needs to be significantly above average. Yeah. And it has to be extraordinary. Right. And so if you get the wrong person, you may be stuck with them for many years. And that might hold back the growth and the success of your business in ways that you can't even see right now, but that will become apparent in a couple of years' time. I mean, I've had some years of hiring the wrong people and then having to performance manage them heavily for months and months and months and months and months on end, right? Because if you have someone on board and they're doing the job, well, that's the job, right? But what you need is people who go above and beyond and who do the job at a level that others don't. And for every company, it's different. And for every kind of business, is different. That's why it's either a hell yeah or it's a no, is a personal thing for every founder, right? Because the gut feel is right for your business. So that's on that side of things. But how do you actually just get a ton of interviews in, right? Because you need to be able to speak to a lot of people to be able to figure out who's a hell yeah and who's a no, right? Well, here's how we go about it. Or here's how I go about it anyway, right? And I say we because I reference the agency I own called Web Profits, and that's where I do like a lot of the hiring. But how I approach it is that I will post up job ads everywhere. Yes, on LinkedIn, on Seek, across Indeed, basically anywhere that I can find potential people, right? I get the applications that are coming in. I ask for cover letters if possible. And I just go through applications super quickly to find people who have the right experience and who I think could be a good fit. And then what I do is I organize a 15-minute interview. It's a 15-minute initial kind of Zoom interview or Google Meets interview or so on, right? And in 15 minutes, I ask them about their recent experiences, their strengths, and what they're looking for. And that's how the conversation starts. And from there, because I know what I'm looking for, I jump. And in 15 minutes, I can get a really good understanding whether that person should continue on to the next step or not. I mean, I do 10 to 15 interviews like this per week sometimes, right? And it allows me to find people quickly who are good. And the way that I can approach that is the fact that if I can do lots of 15-minute interviews, I can talk to a lot more people. And if I can talk to a lot more people, then there's a much higher chance that I can find the one person that I'm looking for. And I'm only looking for one person at a time, but I might do 50 interviews. But 50 15-minute interviews is much easier than 50, say 1-hour interviews that most people do. So I do a 15-minute interview, and I can quickly understand if that's the kind of person who I want to have on the team. Now, when I hire people, I always send them a practical test. So it goes from the 15-minute interview, they pass that, I send them practical tests, and the practical test is on something related to what they're doing in the job. It's a paid test and it's the actual work. Yeah. So I give them a job that they're actually going to perform, and I give them up to 10 hours to complete that work. And then I get that back and I can assess that work myself. And if it's good, I organize a second interview, and that's 1 hour. And that interview, it goes into the role, the company. So we ask them a lot more questions about themselves. And it's like a proper interview, right? But that's the second interview. And there's not a lot of second interviews, because by the time they get to the second interview, unless they stuff it up, which is rare because I'm pretty good at the first interview these days, then we hire them. And so it's a pretty simple approach, yeah? So start by posting up a job ad across as many kind of platforms as possible. Then just book in 15-minute interviews and just do them kind of back to back if you can, and just get through as many as you can, like in a couple of hours. The ones who you like, so the ones that are a hell yeah from the first interview, send them a practical test. then have a second interview to keep talking for a whole hour just to make sure that the hell yeah is still a hell yeah. Then you make an offer and then you hire that person. Now, that's the approach that we've been innovating at Web Profits, and that's the approach that I've been innovating at Web Profits for the last many years. But in particular, the 15-minute interview was something that I introduced at the very start of the pandemic because everybody had to work from home. Now we're still working from home, and I'll talk about that like in a different kind of video, and how to work remotely and how to make that kind of better than working in-house with someone. But this is something that is extremely effective. And it's not something I've seen lots of other people actually approach it with. And the people I hire are excellent people, right? And the approach I have figured out is extremely effective. And so if you're looking to hire people, then you should experiment with this approach because it's highly effective. And the people who you hire, especially the first ones, have a massive impact on your success. So if you can get this right, you save years off your ultimate goal. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and hit that share button and help the channel just grow. And if you do that, I really appreciate it. But regardless, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and be part of this journey with me. I am going to be sharing everything I know in a day in the life of an entrepreneur.